Never had sex with a white woman in my life. And listen, man, I will. But I have never got that to this point. But again, I'm not a lot of people can't accept the fact when they make these comments and they say these things that I'm not who I am, who I really am, but I am. And I can't help that your homeboy was white and he was a hoe.
Right.
My homeboys know me. I've never been like that. I'm true to what I've been. I've held my head up high and represented Fort Worth, Texas, whether it was Eastwood, Piru, or it was just Funky Town, Texas, Murder Word.
Right.
I love my people. I love Fort Worth, Texas.
You are now tuned into the Bob Report.
Red Dog.
Yes, sir.
We back again. Your first time on the Bob Report, man. All I can say is you can't deny and hide the real, no matter what's going on. And you most definitely had an interesting a start to your getting on this camera. But we went kind of fast the last time, and I want to start with your parents. So typically, in this world we live in, the people that's my color, the black people, we tend to get stereotyped and put in a box, and we struggle if that's really we struggle more than we prosper in a sense. People that are your color usually have it made, as you could say. What were your parents like? Like, how were your parents?
Well, I never really knew. I never got to know my pops. I have no idea how to get in touch with him. I don't know nothing about him. My mom, she was working. From what I was told, my mama was working, and my pops was.
What you mean working?
She was selling.
Oh, okay.
And my dad, from what I was told by my grandfather, was pimping.
So, your mama was working and your daddy was also working.
Both of them working. Getting money. So I never had the opportunity to. I don't even have a name for the man. Have no idea. My mom won't talk too much about her past. So.
How does it make you feel? How did that make you feel when you found out what your parents were doing?
I didn't know that too much about anything until I got older. My grandfather raised me. My mom kind of gave up on me at birth, so I was kind of left alone from the jump. My grandfather came into the situation and brought me back.
What do you mean?
From what my grandfather exposed to me, that my mom had me and kind of dumped me off somewhere. And when my grandpa got home, he recovered me.
Right.
She threw me in the trash at a young age, man. My mom wasn't ready for what was happening, and I guess she didn't want nobody to know. I don't know, man. My mom won't talk to me about it. When I bring it up, my mom said she don't want to talk about the past.
How is y'all relationship today?
I don't really bother with my mama. She was never there. So she's someone that I just don't know.
Being raised by your grandfather, it was just you and him?
No, it was me, him, and his wife.
Okay. This is in Fort Worth, correct?
Right.
How did you, or what age did you realize or understand what your parents were doing from what you were told when you knew what it was?
I was. By that time, no one really talked about it, right? My grandfather, he adopted me. He brought me in, and he started raising me. He worked. He was a construction worker. So from an early age, I started going to work with him, and it really wasn't talked about too often. I felt real sensitive about talking about it because he did such a good job and all he could to raise me, I considered him my daddy. And when you go to someone like that after everything has happened and want to know who your real daddy is, it kind of hurt. Even though he tried to help me understand. You know, I just didn't want to hurt him.
Right.
You know, because I felt like I didn't need no other person in my life but him.
So your swagger wasn't something that you saw and you copied. This was you.
Right. Well, you know, back in them days, like I said, I was the only white boy at SS Dillo. Like, the only one at SS Dillo Elementary. And so early on, I was surrounded by nothing but brothers from day one, from early on.
Red Dawg, growing up in Fort Worth, your parents were both working nighttime jobs, street jobs. Your grandfather adopts you. You're only white guy, probably in the neighborhood, at the schools, all of that. So like we said before, you ended up in prison. What did you do without, you know, any incrimination? You went to prison for it, I'm sure. What did you do to end up in prison, Red Dawg?
Well, my first trip, I learned how to steal cars. I didn't have a car, so I could steal them real quick. So I started stealing cars and kind of got caught up. Stealing cars, robbery. Back in them days, like I said, I was broke. So I kept a pistol on me. And I found out at a young age that a pistol will make a man give you everything he's got. So I went the wrong route. Young, crazy, minded. And so I started robbing, jacking. I went to prison for.
So, since you're a white guy, Red Dawg, or you're a pretty bee, you have white cousins and aunts and uncles, and where they at? Where your white side of your family at?
Well, coming up, it was quite a few family. As we got older, they kind of drifted toward the methamphetamines. And, you know, my uncle started doing meth. Everybody around me was doing meth. So they kind of just pulled them apart. Started dying off, moving out, you know. So I never chose that route. I never was on the other end of the deal. I stayed on the top end of it.
Right.
I had to sell it, or, you know, I never could use it.
Right. Have you ever been to one of your family reunions?
Yes. We went to a lot of family reunions. Little town out there called Electra, Texas, out by Vernon, and little old country town. When we were
Down 287.
Excuse me?
Down Highway 287.
Right. My dad, that's his little hometown, little Electra. So, Wichita Falls, Henrietta, all out in that area.
Did you have anybody else in your family that was like you?
No. Now don't get me wrong. I had other relatives that came up in the neighborhood. Mayos, a lot of people know Ricky, Patricia, Connie. They grew up kind of in the same situation as me. That Donnie Mayo, you know, he was killed. We talked about that. A few of my relatives were murdered.
Okay.
In the city.
Gotcha. You end up in prison for robbery. How long was your first stint in prison, and where were you? Because this is important. What years? Where were you at first?
Again, 94. I went to Tilford unit. I opened it up, brand new unit. It was so new, it still had concrete from the bricks on the shitter and the wall. We had to clean all that up. It was a brand new unit.
Telford. Okay. How long were you on Telford?
In my first unit, I was probably on that unit a good 3-4 years.
How were you accepted when you got on Telford?
Again, when I went to Telford unit, it wasn't very many bloods on Telford unit at all at that point. It was majority Crips.
Was it any white people?
Definitely, it's always white people. It's gonna be white. There's a bunch of white people on the unit.
Right.
White, Hispanics, and brothers, and Asians, 2 different races. But majority is gonna be brothers. The majority.
And you, like you mentioned before, you went to the brothers, but it wasn't many bloods.
Well, when I first got to the unit, again, we were all new. There was a lot of youngsters. We were young back then. We were all new to that scene. A lot of people that came off that bus with me, and we knew who we were and what we represented. But once we walked into the pod, it was more of a Fort Worth thing at that point. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we was young, and I ain't gonna lie, everybody was a little nervous. We're in a whole new, we're in the jungle.
Right.
So if somebody went to prison at a young age and told you they weren't nervous, they're telling a lie, because it would definitely make a man a little nervous.
They said that Telford was one of the worst units at one point.
Yeah, it definitely was one of the worst units. Telford. It was, in the first couple of years, we had like 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right there on the unit.
Where did you go after Telford?
I think I went to, I can't remember exactly. I think I went from Telford to Clements. I did. I went from Telford to Clements unit. Clements unit in Missouri County. They call it the Burning Hill.
Why is that?
It's trauma center. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Bunch of youngsters out there getting it in every day. They had a system. They had, I think, the youth offender program, and they kept them to the side. Of course, we couldn't mingle with them, but the youngsters was in there for, they in prison.
Right.
A lot of them were coming home. A lot of them was in there for and doing something. For a youngster to go to prison, he had to do something serious.
Right.
So. But the unit was definitely rock and roll. As soon as you walked through, as soon as you got to the back gate, you got off the bus, it was a war zone. Immediately. And I'm gonna tell you something else. It was the most racist penitentiary I've ever been to, as far as the guards. The guards, man, bro, like inside you got your racist thing going on, but the guards, right when you get off right when you step off the bus, the first thing they tell you is this: we have more plantations here in Missouri County than any other place in the United, and it was like, whoa, what are you talking about? And by me being who I am, they pressured me. They kept the pressure on me, like, it was just so much, man. Which actually, at that point, kind of turned me on my own people.
Was this majority white guards? All white guards?
All white.
So then the guards, not the inmates, but the guards.
The guards in Missouri County. Oh, man, terrible. Worst unit I've ever been on.
When you say turned you on your own people, what do you mean, Red Dawg?
Well, this goes that they made a comment. Somebody said that I was a racist, right?
Right.
Which blew my mind, and I really thought that they was gonna expose the truth. That when they said I was racist, I thought they were gonna tell you that at one time I felt like I was racist. I was racist against my own kind, and I know that sounds that's way out there. But that's the truth, because I was living the same way everybody watching me behind this camera was living. I felt like, I really felt, all my people have been black, and I felt the struggle. I understood. When something happened on the news, and it was something racist, it bothered me just as much as it bothered a black person, and that's when I realized something was different about me, because I couldn't allow you to say certain things around me. I couldn't allow you to be in my presence and with that racist, man. It really bothered me. People that are racist, I don't understand it to this day. I can understand why black folks was racist, But I never could understand why white folks was racist. Or Mexicans, like, it was just one of them things. When I went to the penitentiary, all my homeboys said, you know, they was using the N-word, right? Let's keep it real. A lot of my homeboys would say, oh, man, it's cool, you can say that. But to me, I felt so out of place. Like, I remember saying it one day, right? Like, what's up, my, you know, and I'm like, it didn't feel right. and it was, hey, everybody was cool, but I didn't like that. And from that day forward, the way it fell off my lips, I never have said nothing like that again. I love black people with my whole heart. So for me to sit here and to say that, even if it's okay with somebody, it feels very weird and uncomfortable. So for someone to say I was racist in any type of way, he don't know me. See, a lot of people get behind these cameras, I mean, in these views, or in these comments, and they make comments because they really don't know you. They don't know you, and they haven't met someone like you. It takes, when you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing it, there's not very many doing it like that. Not about not being white. You have a lot of white people that act like they love black folks. But me, I in my heart, I was a black man. I really, I'm sorry. People said I had an identity crisis. I did, bro. I really did, and that hurt me. Because I want to say something on these cameras. I'm white pride. I believe in my people.
What's the difference between white pride and white power, Red Dawg?
Big difference. Listen, you can be proud of your race and not be prejudiced and racist. If you say that you're white pride, and this is what I'm saying, the white people that are out there, I love you. I'm not a traitor. I'm not like that. People confuse me as being, because they don't want to accept it. They don't want to accept it. You know, the only time they want to accept is when they need you. There's too many brothers out here, and here you are. You can save me. Can you save me? But now I'm gonna let them get their ass whooped out there anyway. Because I feel like this. When you come from how I came up, I didn't know racism. My daddy, my family, probably, when I heard my homeboy say the N-word, that was not racist. When I got to prison and heard it, it was a whole on the end of it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, I'm like, okay. And that was the last video we made, I couldn't, so that what made me like, I couldn't accept my own people, because you was acting like a woman, you wasn't respecting me the way that I should have been respected, because racism to me is very sensitive. All of my kids are half white, half black.
You ever been with a white woman before?
Excuse me?
You ever been with a white woman?
Never. Never had sex with a white woman in my life. And listen, man, I will. But I have never got that to this point. But again, I'm not a lot of people can't accept the fact when they make these comments and they say these things that I'm not who I really am, but I am. And I can't help that your homeboy was white and he was a hoe.
Right.
My homeboys know me. I've never been like that. I'm true to what I've been. I've held my head up high and represented Fort Worth, Texas, whether it was Eastwood, Piru, or it was just Funky Town, Texas, Murder Word.
Right.
I love my people. I love Fort Worth, Texas. And that's just where it is, man.
Have you ever been called a Negro lover?
Man, listen, bro. Many times in my life, and that's where I get this white thing when I say I'm white pride, because I have been called that many times. I've been called that by black and white folks. You know?
When the black people call it, were they trying to be funny or they?
No. You know, it's a lot of people don't accept me still. If you didn't grow up with me and know where my heart really lies, they didn't accept me. They haven't accepted me. Unless you're from my hood. To this day, people, they walk, you know, when you tell them who you are, you know, because me, I don't just go out and woo, 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 woo. I'm old, man. That was me young years. Me, I just present myself as a man now, as a father. And a lot of people don't accept the fact that my tongue is different. My what do you call it?
What your dialect, your vernacular, the way you speak is
different. But
what you got going on is something that you can't fake that. You can't make that up.
Man, this is what like I said in the last video, man. You take a white boy to Mexico when he's a youngster and bring him home, he's gonna speak fluent Spanish, and that's just the facts. I was left on the battlefield at a young age, and all I know, and it could have been a Mexican battlefield, it could have been I don't know. It just happened to be a black battlefield, and I fought with it, and I accepted where I adapted to my surroundings.
When you were in prison, Red Dog, and the guards saw that you hung out with the black guys, how was your treatment from them?
It just depends on where I was. Like again, on Brazoria, they beat me.
The white guards beat you for hanging with the black guy.
They locked me up in over there it's called PhD, pre-hearing detention, and they would give one of them other dudes a Johnny sack, an extra sack to piss or shit in it, and the guards would throw that on me. Facts, man, facts, because they didn't accept me who I am. I was odd, I was different, and to them.
And this was in the 90s. This was in the 90s.
The 90s. See, I never traded on my race. My race just wasn't stiff enough to hold it down for me. I was on a whole nother mission. And I know it's a bunch of stiff white boys, I met them. And I'm talking about from racist organizations that I ran across in prison.
Right.
Just because they was racist didn't mean they wasn't stiff.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
The racism in prison, you mentioned earlier that it was different than being in the free world.
Right. Well, truth be told now, when you're in prison and it's a white boy being racist, it's very rare that a white boy will come out and just say, hey, you're up. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They kind of hide behind each other in the group. Oh, he's just a blah, 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 blah. And see, that's what I told you I witnessed when I got there and I couldn't be a part of something so ignorant. Because if I'm going to be that way, then I'm going to be all I can be. The same way when I was how I am now. I took it and ran with it and I ain't slowed down.
Right.
I'm just getting old.
Oh, no, you ain't old, Red Dog. When I guess with the Aryan Brotherhoods, right. When they would try to recruit you to be with them, and then when they found out that you wasn't with that and you would be with the blacks, did they try to attack you?
Never. Here's what happened there. They knew from the jump I wasn't right. They knew from the jump it wasn't happening. See, when I walked in the unit, I was flamed up. I would take my red bracelet or whatever, and I was off the. They could tell by the way my.
Hold on, Red Dog. You got a gold tooth in your mouth.
Yes, I know.
How you got a white dude with a gold tooth, man?
You know, I wanted more than one, but I could only afford one at the time.
All right, so you said when you got into prison and they saw you flamed up, then what?
White boys knew from the jump because, you know, like, look, when you get in prison, white boys ain't really just speaking fast. They're watching. See, who's going to speak fast is the brothers. They're going to speak real fast. You hear me? They're going to go back and forth real quick. Got us a brand new one. Says, hey, this is I get a prison. You know, here we go. We're talking.
Right.
And I'm sitting here listening. I already know how to speak. I'm feeling it. Okay, but I'm waiting. And I'm hearing everything. So from the jump, the white boys already knew when I hit the yard, I was different. Now, they did come up to me and they would get to communicate with me, but I would say, I would let them know off the muscle, hey, I'm Red Dog. I'm from Eastwood. I'm a blood. And then they act like they're cool with that though, right? But then, you know, when they get behind the closed doors, I'm a race trader. I ain't no good. I'm you know, whatever. But the brothers, and then again, you got the brothers out there, when you tell them that, they're like, a white boy, blood, same thing they try to do when you don't know you. So they, man. But so, anyway, make a long story short, we would have called Freaky Fridays in prison. Mm-hmm. A Freaky Fridays when you was out there in the paint. And see, I would step out every time. Every time it was time, I would step out in the paint. So they got to a point where no one feared me, okay? We're not gonna say I was just feared in the prison system. I was respected because anytime they called me to the paint, I performed. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I started performing pretty good after a little while.
So you had 40 fights in 30 days or something?
That's a true fact. Ferguson knew it. 40 fights, 30 days.
They said Ferguson used to get it on.
Yeah, no, realistically, I did. Listen, I've been hit so many times in the head now, sometimes I can't even remember. Man, bro, like, I'm getting old.
Speaking of Ferguson, I had got a call the other day from OG Percy. And he called to tell me that he know Brother Red Dog, and Brother Red Dog is the real thing, and you know, he just tipped his hat to you, man.
Much love to OG Percy.
How do you know OG Percy? Outside of just being in Fort Worth.
Well, you know, outside of being in Fort Worth, OG Percy, he's you know, I've been knowing him for a long time.
Right.
I know Percy from outside the unit, right?
Right.
Because again, when I was on Ferguson unit, I think he was there too, but I was on closed custody. I was down in the end. There's different wings, and I was on the far end, where closed and medium custody, and I never could work myself up out of that hole. So I didn't get to meet a lot of the people that was in GP, general population.
Okay. This 40 fights in 30 days, Red Dog. How does that even happen?
Here's the situation.
Is it because you white?
Oh yeah. No, listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I wasn't even having to fight the white boys. White boys wasn't even wanting no smoke.
The white boys didn't want to fight
It
you.
was the brothers. See, the Mexicans didn't give a fuck. They don't. When you get down to the Mexicans, don't give a damn. Like, hey, they speak their like, hey, fuck him. You know, he ain't nobody, whatever. But the brothers is who I had my fights with. They was daily, and it wasn't just Crips. It was Bloods too, because they would feel like they could handle me any kind of way because they wasn't from Fort Worth.
Right.
You know what I mean? They was from outside, you know, other cities. So they would come at me with that, you know, with that disrespectful. And I'm gonna tell you, like anybody tell you who's locked up with me, I'm gonna be just like you. You're a man, I'm a man. See, a lot of white boys didn't want to fight brothers. That the black and white did, nah. Man, you couldn't get them white boys to fight a black man.
Yeah.
They wasn't trying to do that unless they had to. Now, if they was in an Aryan Brotherhood or something like that, they would have to get out there. Family made them. But them white boys that come in there, that's why they call that protection riding. Because they wasn't gonna fight no black man. They'd rather just pay protection. Truth be told.
But you out there fighting the black dudes.
I fight them every time I have to. Now look, I'm not never trying to fight unless I have to. You understand what I'm saying? Like when you get old now, fighting, you don't want you ain't got very much energy left. But yeah, when I was young, yes sir, fighting every day. I wouldn't take no disrespect. None. Like none. And back then, you know, Crips and Blood, we were getting into it. And especially not from my city. Like when I got to prison, it was, them Crips wasn't even trying to hear it, man. Like, what? No, you got me fucked up. No, you got me fucked up. Okay, well, look here. Well, here we go. We're into it. And then on that Freaky Friday, it's a call-out thing. It's like a dance. We're gonna dance. So
this is on Ferguson.
This is on Telford Unit too. They had Freaky Friday. They got Freaky Friday on more than one unit.
So it's like you saying Freaky Friday is like when you had a dance,
right?
And then you go how you want to dance.
And we're lined up here. Bloods over here, Crips over here, and it's a call out. Man, I want you for something that done happened during the week, and that's how you keep the peace on the units. See, the guards even let this go down because it kept peace in the penitentiary, so it wouldn't cause a riot. See, they'll let you get it on if it'll stop a riot. They can't handle a whole full-fledged riot, you know.
And in these call outs, would you most of the time the only white dude in
the only white one. Again, I say this again. I don't know no other white blood. And I know you out there, homie. I'm not talking down on you. Whoever you may be. I don't know you. I have never met another white blood in the street. I met one in prison. I talked about him before. Named Be Crazy. On Beto.
I mean, you mentioned before, Red Dog. A lot of the majority of the time when you a blood, whether white or black, it's you outnumbered by the Crips.
Right.
In prison and in the streets, but in prison, then you said some of the guys.
I was outnumbered by the Bloods, the Crips, the white boys, the Mexicans. I was outnumbered all the way around. But again, like we spoke in the beginning, my mama threw me in a trash can, literally. My grandpa pulled me out. I was outnumbered from birth.
Right.
From birth, I've been struggling. You understand me?
Right.
Like these are true facts. This ain't nothing that we're making up to make ourselves look good. This ain't nothing that we done put behind the cameras, you ain't bleeping out that I'm not saying nothing racist in any kind of way, even in a friendly way.
Right.
I say it like everybody else says, the N-word. With all due respect to every black person that I've ever come across.
Red Dog, you being from Fort Worth, you heard of the OG Percy's, you probably also heard of the Charleston Whites.
Who?
His name is Charleston White.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. See, somebody like that, he can't be in the presence of somebody like me. See, I don't respect in no type of way Charleston White. See, we grew up, snitches get stitches. Nowadays, hey, this is true. They loving the snitch. Well, the snitch look like he's coming up out here. But see here, he talks too much about people's past, people that have passed on. See, when you touch so many sensitive subjects, see, there's so many, that punk can't even come into a lot of places where us gangsters are, I promise you that. You know what I mean? And this is true. See, he's got this partner named Dewberry. I love you, homie. That's my partner.
Shout out Anthony Dewberry.
Charleston White, hey, I'm gonna say this about Charleston White, right? Charleston White come up off talking about everybody. And hey, you had your way up, but see, where Charleston White violates me is when he comes to my hood talking about my people. When he comes over there talking about my hood and ain't nobody, see, don't nobody wanna hurt that punk because of this. Don't nobody wanna do nothing to Charleston White because we're gonna go to prison. See, Charleston White got the 911 on his phone. You understand? See, if Charleston White was a real gangster, he would have already been planted. They'd have planted him already. See, Charleston White, you know this, if you hear me behind this, Charleston White, I'm not that white boy, that island boy. I'm a gangster. I'll get in that ring with you. I'll show you what it's all about, homie. Real shit. I don't f with no snitch. And I ain't gonna allow nothing around me to f with no snitch.
Charleston has said a lot of disgraceful things about his own city.
Now, Charleston White, here's the thing about him. He says a lot of things about people. I realize you gotta have motion. He looked like a little rat. You know what I mean? This man ain't got no motion. This man's half retarded. You know what I mean? And it's sad because where he's upset me, and I wanna get this shit straight. My partner passed away, Pee Wee. I will forever love you, homie. R.I.P. You came to my hood, and you know if he was alive, you wouldn't have done none of that. And it's upset some people, it upset a lot of us. And the reason that we got Ring cameras on every door, we got cell phone cameras, we got satellite, he's a hoe, man. He's being protected. He's being protected. And we ain't, people that know him and people that know us just know that there's other sides of Fort Worth. And he ain't riding through my hood every day with his top down. Let's keep it like that.
Red Dog, you have 15 children. 16. 16?
15 on the ground, 1 in the womb. Any day now, like she was supposed to drop yesterday.
Right.
I tried to put her in that position this morning so we could have him today.
Right. It's a boy?
Don't know. She won't. We don't know. I want a boy.
Another boy, okay. One of your sons is a rapper.
88 Dub.
His name is 88 Dub. He's pretty popular. They say you used to rap back in the day, Red Dog.
Me?
Oh no, I'm just playing.
No. I wish I had that talent.
Right.
I mean, I threw a few rhymes out there, but they sure wasn't gonna make a hit. That's when I had a few drinks in my system.
88 Dub is a pretty popular guy. He does a lot of streams, a lot of numbers. How does that make you feel, knowing that one of your children is on his way to being a rap star?
It makes me feel good that my son has found a motion, a lane. All right, regardless how it would have been, rapping or truck driving or. As a father, it just makes a father feel good knowing that his son has a chance in the world to succeed.
Well, your first interview on the Bob Report, man, is doing pretty good, man. How does it make you feel to get the response from like people all over the world that don't know you or hearing your story, part of your story?
It feels pretty good to get my story out there, but it's kind of one of them things where a lot of people, they act like they don't believe the truth that's being told. So it's kind of frustrating reading through the comments.
Would you believe it if you were somebody? Would you believe this?
No. I understand.
I didn't believe that first.
See, that's the thing. I do understand, but when you read the comments before your comment, don't just read your comment, read everybody's comment. So understand that truth's in the comments. Read them. People been locked up with me. People been here with me. So it kind of made me feel, and then I talked to Manchi, OG Manchi. He told me, he said, man, don't let them comments get to you. He said, love and, make a long story short, man, he told me don't worry about them comments. And I got,
because you be in them comments, you in there.
Right, I read them comments. You know what? At the end of the day, the views, that's all good. But the comments, that's where I be, because I respect everybody's, they don't there's been a lot of things that's said that I just accept it and keep moving, because like you said, who else has seen someone like me? You would have had to been from Fort Worth. You would have had to been here your whole life. You would have had to been a real resident of Fort Worth, Texas, to get to really see me, unless I was, outside as far as in prison, or even in Alabama. Alabama got to know me real well when my son went to firing off the gun in what was that, Foley, Alabama. So we made the news the next day. I was down there working. Something kicked off, and next thing I seen, they had us on the TV talking about Fort Worth gang members come down and had the whole little community shook.
Foley, Alabama?
Foley, Alabama. Doug went up there acting a fool, got into it, and firing a pistol. And I ain't gonna lie, firing a pistol here in our city is like, you fire a pistol and it may be 45 minutes before you see an officer. Right. Before he fired that third shot, they was already lit up coming down the street. Right. Here they come.
Your children and having so many of them, like, was that something that you planned, or did it just start happening?
Well, you gotta understand, I did a lot of time in prison. I missed out on a lot of fun. So when I come home, I was ready. I was built up. I was ready for battle. And it started off like that. And I had my first, I had my first child. And the moment of me having my first child, I realized that the things I thought was more important wasn't that important no more. As far as gangbanging, as far as hustling, as far as stealing, robbing, whatever we may have been doing. It wasn't important no more, because once the baby dropped and I got to hold him, I realized I had a purpose at that point. I had to get these through. So now I kind of, when I have a child, it keeps me grounded. The children keep me grounded. And these are facts I'm talking, like I love being a daddy. I take very good care of my children. Now, I can't buy them all the best of everything, but I give them all I get. I work hard for what I get, and I work. And I bring it all home, every penny to my family. So when my kids need something, I'm doing my best to make it possible.
Right. Let's go back. Let's go back to the penitentiary, Red Dawg. What type of cellmates did you have?
I've had many cellmates. Some units are different. Some units, they have bars. Some units, they have doors. Now some units even have the doors that pop and swing open. They got it's set up different. So depending on where I was, I've had all types of cellies. I've had a few Crip cellies. I had a few blood cellies. I've had one thing I never would have is a homosexual cellie. See, I just couldn't. Man, I'm not talking about homosexuals. Shout out to the homosexuals. That's fine. But I'm saying when I was locked up, I didn't want to be boxed in there with somebody that might be eyeballing me. So, and then I didn't like to be, so we would have situations where I wouldn't even go in. If I knew I was being moved to a pod where my cellie was gonna be homosexual, I wouldn't even go in. I laid it down. So, I've had all types of cellies. White cellies, I've had racist cellies.
You had racist cellies?
Right, but we didn't make it long either. See, the thing is, in prison, they try to do that to you.
They put you in on purpose.
They do that on purpose. They got you have a travel card in prison that goes everywhere you go. It states we have, your whatever, it has your race, your age, what you're locked up for, your gang affiliation, whatever it may be. And in prison, they play with us like playing a board game, Let's put them two together. It got to the point where on the other end, the white boys didn't even want to be my cellie. Because I was smashing whoever come in there with racist shit. If you come into my area, you had to respect men. You had to respect people. I'm not just saying this against black people. I'm not. I like all people. You could be green. You walk that door, I'm gonna look at you funny for a minute, but after a while, getting to know you, I'm gonna ride with you if you're riding with me.
88 Dub has entered the chat. Red Dog, this is your oldest son, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Could you put in the mic, please, Mr. Red Dog? Hey, Dub, how you doing, man?
Good.
Where you been, man?
I've been around.
Been around?
Mm-hmm.
Your pops, man, you been telling me about your pops for a minute, man, and he finally is telling his side of the story, man, and it's pretty interesting. He's been getting a lot of good feedback. How does that make you feel, man?
I mean, see, my pop, he been like this, he been a real from day one. Everybody know, I've been telling him, go on.
Hey, man, you can't call him no real. You can't call him.
I can. He a real he definitely, like I say, he been this way. He ain't just showing up for no camera. He been, like I said, real. Like I said, I'm mixed, so I can say it. And my pop, he really could say it too, because ain't nobody gonna stop him. He official out here, but at the same time, he just respect, you know what I'm saying? I never heard him say nigga, because he respect what it is, you feel me? And then, like I say, he the truth, for real. He been like that. I've been told him get in front of the cameras. He never wanted to do it because, he ain't that type of guy. The whole reason he even here is, I wouldn't say all because of me, but partially, he even under the camera because of me. Because I told him he different. He been different. Everybody know he different. All them other white dudes out here that's kind of blowing up from just kind of being a little hood white dude, like my pop, he really that. Like, he started that official, like from the jump. He been different. And, I ain't never seen no other white man like him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure. When you
was like coming up as a youngster, Dub, you still kind of young, but like growing up as a kid, did you know that your dad was different than other white men?
Yeah, definitely, because like when we was younger, Pop was still he was in prison at first, while we was still a little younger. He was in prison, going back and forth to prison. He had did another bid, and I was with my grandma. But I always been a daddy's boy, So I always wanted my pop, looked up to my pop. When he came back from his last bid that he did, because, I'm the oldest. He the third oldest. We got one sister in between us. And when he came back, he would like to tell his prison stories and stuff. all that type of stuff. And that was my favorite thing to listen to. He know, right? Probably every time he telling his prison stories, I just, man, come on, tell another story. You know, I'm young. I'm loving it, you know what I'm saying? And most of them prison stories he even told us, I doubt he'll tell y'all, you know what I'm saying, just because it's confidential. And he don't want to put his business out there. He's still a gangster. He kind of opening up and giving y'all a little info, but y'all don't even know half the stuff he done put in, half the work he done put in, the people he done beef with in the city and, you know, dominated, you know what I'm saying, or whatever happened. He ain't going to speak on that part because, you know, he's still trying to get used to this camera. He ain't never going to say nothing police or confidential because they been trying to get us our whole lives. They hated him, so it fell on to us, you know what I'm saying? And so they just hate us. Us three sitting on this couch, Fort Worth PD hate us.
You told me that before, and then Zay mentioned something, and your pops, you know, he said the same thing. Is that because of your pops and his?
I mean, yeah, it all started for sure because of him. Even before we was even putting in work, gang banging, doing anything crazy, they was out to get us because this is our pop, you know. And he done put in so much work and did so much stuff, but they never could pin the nail on him. You know, he's smooth, he's slick. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like me. I done did so much stuff, but I ain't never went down. You know what I'm saying? Because somehow I keep slipping through the cracks, you know? And he kind of like that too, but at the same time, them laws knew exactly what he was doing. And they hated him because not just that he white, but, not just that he white, he a real blood. Like, he really official, like, real OG, you know what I'm saying? In the hood, in Eastwood, Piru, he one of the OGs, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, he been that way from the jump. And the laws knew that too. And then the fact that he white, he was, yeah, it might be all these other white dudes now that's tough and stuff, but back in the day, man, I'm gonna say it, like, he was the only one. Simple as that. That's why he made the newspaper for it, you know what I'm saying? Because he literally was the only one, like himself, that was really stepping though. You know, there wasn't no crash out. There wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? He was his own man. He was a young OG from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And he ain't like them other white dudes that gotta do all this just to get a little respect. Nah, he do, you know what I'm saying? Which he done did all that, but not off no other and like, oh, you gotta do this, or like old boy was saying, like, you my kid or something. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Ain't never been that. He always put in his own work, got his own respect, whether he was beefing with Crips, Bloods, or anybody. He done stomped down on all sides, you know what I'm saying? He done put the belt to ass on all sides, like Crip, Blood, you know what I'm saying? I remember back then, you know, any of them Blood that didn't respect him, he put belt to him, you feel me? Like, regardless, like, he ain't tolerate no disrespect, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't going for nothing. And it's either gonna respect it or, you know, he gonna, you know what I'm saying? And now, you know, he older, so he ain't gotta necessarily do all that. He got us. We gonna come
tell the
behind.
story now. That's what's going on. We tell this the Red Dog story.
Yeah, you know, now he be trying to chill. He got 15 kids, ain't no telling, you know, probably more, you know what I'm saying?
Think he got more?
Probably.
Yeah.
I doubt it though, because if the thing about Pop, that's why you really can't even say he got more, because if he did, he gonna take care of him. You know what I'm saying?
You think he got more and don't know he got something out there?
Possibly, that could be a possibility.
Yeah. Older than you?
Because I remember, older than me, because I remember before you went down on your last bid, he had told me that, and it ain't proven, you know what I'm saying? But he told me, like, one girl was saying that he had another son right before me, because like I said, I'm the oldest. So he was hearing, you know, while he was locked up on his last bid, that it was a boy out here. It was another boy. You know, not me though. You know what I'm saying? Well, so yeah.
We introduced you without you being here a while ago. Could you introduce yourself now, man? Since you just got here.
Yeah. 88 DAWG. You know, some of y'all probably know who I am. Some of y'all probably don't. 88 DAWG, I'm a rapper from east side of Fort Worth. that's me.
It's good to see you, man. Get the mic back to Brother Red Dawg. Red Dawg, you had to come out to get this dude to come back outside. Cause we ain't seen him in a long time, Red Dawg.
Right.
We gotta fix that.
Yeah, cause let me see my pop. Yeah, cause like some y'all probably don't know. This my pop, but this like we real close. This like my best friend. You know what I'm saying? So we be having sometimes. I don't want to call it this, but it kind of what it is. We be having sometimes like let's just say like friendly competition. And it's like. To work, cause my pop real known. He been known before I was ever known. You know what I'm saying? He known. So it's like we always go back and forth. Like when I first started rapping, Pop, you known, but you ain't nearly as known as me. You know what I'm saying? Like we used to go back and forth with that. And I tell him like, oh nah, you ain't. I got millions of views. Like you ain't known as me. And he like, son, you don't even know how many people know me and all this stuff I done did and all that. So we done had that type of stuff. So. Of course, with my pop getting out, getting active like that, it's gonna get me. Gotta get active, you know what I'm saying? And then with him also doing this as well, he trying to get me back active too. So we get the whole platform as a family, rolling, getting everything jumping. It'll all work hand in hand.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, cause it'll all work hand in hand.
Zay said he got some raps that he ready to put out. We're just trying to see how we gonna do it.
Yeah, man, Zay talking though, man. He just talking. He got some raps that he wrote in prison.
I don't remember saying that.
He wrote some raps in prison.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of raps in prison. He used to sing. He used to sing them to me on the phone and stuff like that. But he don't really, he never really liked the rapper part of it, But Lizay, one thing y'all don't know, Lizay a good dancer. What? He a real good dancer, I'm telling you. He know how to dance real good. Like, see what a lot of y'all don't know.
Zay don't come off as a dancing type to me.
I'm telling you, not now, because he kind of got older. He got his little gangster swag going on. But to be honest, like, I never was a dancer. Like, I tried. I ain't going to be one of them too tough niggas that like, oh, I don't dance. But... I try, I just ain't groovy. I'm tall, you know what I'm saying? I just can't dance, bro. But what a lot of y'all don't know, and I'm gonna put it out there now, I'm talking to my fans, like, and people that know me. Lil Zay, in my first music video, well, my second one, T4L Flow, that's my second music video, got, millions of views. A lot of people thought that was me dancing, like doing all that groovy. But really what y'all don't know is that was him. That was him. And, I kind of picked up a lot of, let's just say, fame off that specific situation because my fans thought that not only was I rapping, but I was in there dancing on some Chris Brown, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he could do it all. But really, that wasn't me. That was my little brother. He was doing dancing. Y'all just thought it was me because we look alike, but that was him.
Good to see you, AA Dub. Red Dawg, you got your boys here, man. We just went down another road on the Bob Report, man. I'm pretty sure we'll see you again. You got anything else to say today, man?
No, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be here with you. It's a blessing to have my boys here with me. It's just how we are. A lot of things in my past I would have changed if I possibly could have, but we're here.
Make sure you let them know what it is, though. We is.
Yeah, truth be told, I never meant to raise my sons as gangsters. It's just kind of how the streets are, kind of how life is, kind of how society is. Once again, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. They didn't have a chance. They had to be a. So again, I'm not sitting behind this thing boasting that I got my sons here as gangsters. But I'm still a happy, proud man, and I love both of them to death. And we're gonna conquer all our battles together.
You are now tuned into the Bob Report.